computers now have primary control of critical vehicle functions.
Hey everyone. Just testing out my audio. Alright, let's get started on the daily chart here. So first things first is we're going to want to find our highs and lows. Now as you notice, I'm using the Heikin-Ashi, and I've changed my colors as well for my candles. You can do the same as well. You just need to click on your candles, click settings, and here you can change the color. So once you have that done, if you do choose to do so, let's zoom out and make sure you're on the daily. And now we're going to go ahead and use this, which is a horizontal ray. Now let's go ahead and find our local highs and lows. And by doing that, we're going to go to the past price action. We're going to put one here, and it lines up with these tops here. We're going to do another one for the lows, and we'll change the color for the lows to orange. Do another low here, confluent with this, and this, and this. It's also confluent with back here as well, so we'll go to the high, change this color, come to the very high here, very high here, and of course here. And now here. Oops. And here, just as well. There we are. So now, let's do down here. Here. I'll change the color of this one to orange. And now we'll do our local tops in white. Oops. Sorry. Come up. Local top here. So when you're doing your tops too, it doesn't have to be absolutely to the candle wick. You want to try to connect more than one. That way it's a little more confluent. You could also use parallel channels. So go like this, to the wick bottom here, and you're capturing this and this. Oops. So you can do it as a channel instead of lines. I'm just doing it as trend lines right now for reference. Oh, I'm still on the oh, I have it auto set. So we're pretty much finished for that. And now finding our local lows. So let's say this one here. Here as well. That one can be adjusted as well, actually. I'm looking at it. Come down right about here. Here. Oops. So now we all have all of our daily tops and daily lows, and going all the way back as well. So these will all be key levels that you can keep track of in the long run. So a lot of people would put a trend line here. I don't really trade with trend lines, and you'll see why. It's all about levels. Everything about trading is all about levels. It's not about your trend lines or your shapes and whatever normal retail traders use. I mean, there is some that are the exception, I guess. But anyway, getting into it, let's move down to the 4-hour chart. You'll see everything kind of line up a little better here. So this purple line is the daily close, the previous daily close. That's automatically plotted because I changed it in my candle settings. So now that we have all of our 4-hour levels mapped out for our normal candle levels, let's go ahead and add our first indicator. And I've already I've starred the ones that you're going to want to add. Now this one here is the main one that you're going to be focusing with. So go ahead and click that. Now I did not produce these, I just used them. They're free to use on TradingView. So pardon me, feel free to go ahead and use them and experiment and see what you can do with them. So the blue lines that are plotted are your SR levels, and this blue box here is a fair value gap, and these are created from institutions from move to move. This created a lot of liquidity, and they did it themselves between the two SR levels. So all of this move was to capture all of this stuff down here, which is equivalent to right here. This is where a lot of people were belonging. So there's a lot of liquidity down in this zone that the institutional investors want before we can go higher. Now that doesn't mean that we are going to go higher, and I do believe we will go higher, but I'll get into that further into the stream. So right now, like the current price action, we're gonna capture this and figure out what's going on. So first off, like I said, these blue lines are your 4-hour, because we're on the 4-hour time frame. So these are the 4-hour SR levels. So you can go ahead and map those out if you want. I'm gonna do it just for the stream. So first one's here, and let's do these colors in dark purple or blue, I guess. We'll do another one here. And then we'll do the one up here. always forget that it locks. So now that we have our 4-hour SR levels mapped out, let's go ahead and go down to the 1 hour. Zoom out a little bit here. Now here we can actually see some confluences within the SR levels and the FVG gaps that are created. So this is an hourly FVG gap. I'm gonna show you. So here and here. This is basically a new range that we're in, and this is the fair value gap between that range. This is the bottom, which is a very important level, because if we go to the 4-hour, you'll see it's the prior daily close, but it's also where this liquidity range is. And that's a heavy confluence, and it's also touching the 4-hour or 1 hour SR level, and then so that's a daily anyway. But either way, this move here I believe to be very bullish, and I did call that out on my TikTok. Actually, I said that we were going to bounce off of this likely, and I'll show you exactly why. I'm also going to map this out too, just so that we have reference of the 1 hour FVG on different time frames, like lower time frames. And then we'll do that one as well. Red. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and add a new indicator, and that's going to help give us even more confluences with our levels that we've mapped out and the SR levels within multiple time frames, to give you an understanding from high time frame to low time frame why the price is going where it is and why it's doing what it is doing. Like, price, it doesn't just happen for no reason. Like, this happened for a reason, but you get to see the numbers and understand the data to actually see these moves coming through. What originally should have been a bullish move wasn't, because they wanted the liquidity down here. It was basically a trap. Oops, I moved my anyway, I'm flaking on. So let's add the indicator. And the first one we're going to add is this one right here. Fu Manchu Cipher B plus divergences, or VMC for short. It's one of the more popular ones on TradingView. So just go ahead and click that. And just looking at the hourly here. So if you're not familiar with this indicator, this is a momentum indicator for various different functions. So it captures money flow, so negative and positive money flow. It has a VWAP, has stochastic bands, which is the bands right here, these blue fancy bands. The red flow here that you see is the money flow. Anytime it's above, it'll be green. Now these big blue waves are the actual momentum waves themselves, and in the middle, that's basically your decision point or your pinch point. So anytime your momentum's on the bottom, it's bearish momentum, and this is the bullish momentum up here. So anytime price is rising past the middle point or the pinch point, it's bullish momentum, and below it's bearish momentum. Also, a lot of the time, the money flow will be confluent with the overall momentum that's above versus below. So right here, this move, just on the hourly looking, right here to this SR level from the middle of the FVG, or bottom of this FVG. So this pinch point right here is this candle, and we can map these out too. So right here's one. Oops. So we got the pinch, our stochastic is going down, VWAP is going down, money flow is going down, and the momentum's going down. And it's also at an angle. Like the sharper the angle, the more aggressive the move's going to be potentially, and that's how it played out here, because there's more money flow coming in, so it's going to be more aggressive. The VWAP's a big belly, and now we have this big belly of a momentum. Now if you look on the side here, you can see that there's a scale, and the scale is basically an oversold or an overbought. And the more overbought, especially with the stochastics, when it comes up, it'll be 100%. You can always put a line just to remind you right about here that that's the kill zone for stochastic. And when it comes down to the middle, that's where it starts to build bullish momentum. And it's the exact same thing for the bullish momentum down here. So when you get this green buy, it should become fluent with your certain main levels. And so this is one of those certain main levels. This is the SR level. This is an hourly SR level. And that's also our previous touch point here when we first dumped down. So that's a major confluence with this big move down and with this buy. So prior to even that coming through on this SR level would have been a very good time to be buying, which in my previous video I had on TikTok anyway, I had said that right here is a very good time to be buying. Not financial advice, of course. So now you can see on the hourly, we're not above the previous daily close, which is that purple line. And the stochastic is coming down, which is also this momentum here in the candles. So now we're underneath, and this, which is the underside of the momentum, it's coming to, I don't really know how to say it, but it's coming to like a pinch. So when the momentum pinches, and especially when it's negative momentum, so on the downside, it can be aggressive move. Not always. It can also be a bear trap. So it could give you a sell, and people could come down, bring it down to say the bottom of this FVG. So we're on the half hour instead of the hourly, and this is where these levels come into play, especially to your favor if you're trading on lower time frames and trying to get the best entry. So here you can see we are getting a sell. This is the half hour, but on the hourly it doesn't have a sell yet. So this sell hasn't been confirmed with enough momentum, so we need to get down more. The stochastic bands need to come down more, but it is confluent because we are under the daily close. So you'll also hear a lot of people say, including myself, like when you're breaking a certain level, whether it's down or up, an hourly close below or above is normally what you need to confirm, or to confirm that trend, basically. So if it's gonna say, if you're a breakout trader and we're supposed to be breaking this, that's exactly what you're gonna be doing. Anyway, I believe that if we do end up getting rejected, if the money flow keeps on going down, stochastic keeps coming down, and the overall momentum's coming down, the VWAP's coming down, this move could end up being at the bottom of this FVG on the half hour. So now let's look at the 15, and vice versa. It could be at the bottom of this FVG, which would be also confluent with the top of these candles, because there's a lot of liquidity here, but that also means that there's a lot of bulls that are willing to go back in or buy more orders or contracts to try to go back up and break this daily level again. So what I'm saying here is, if we do get rejected, we'll come back down to the bottom of this SR level and or the half hour SR level, which again is confluent with these big wicks, this move up. Now let's go down to the 1 minute. So in the 1 minute here, you can see heavy confluences with the stochastic, or with the stochastic and the momentum. So here, like I said, this is the daily close, prior daily close, and just looking at from, say, right here, so this bottom of the move, so we got a pinch, which is here. There's a fake out, which is right on the SR level, which is a 1 minute SR level, and it was a fake out. The VWAP's coming down, stochastic's already all the way up, and it's pinching here, and it's pinching here, but the money flow's coming up, so people were still buying. It was heavily bought right here, and that's probably because it's a heavily influential spot for traders or like institutions. I guess that's what these are based off of. I don't know how true that is, but after trading the charts and trading these indicators for a long while, it's pretty crazy how accurate they actually are. But anyway, I'm flaking again. So we get a buy order, which is the big candle here. So there was a lot of heavy orders being placed, like I said, this wick up, and that's all confluent with here. VWAP comes up, stochastic comes back up, and now the interesting part is this is where I believe the actual daily close was, or anyway, we get a sell, it comes back down, and which is hitting the top of this liquidity candles, and it bounced again, come back up, rejection off the daily close, stochastic's coming down, money flow's coming down, VWAP's coming down, and it comes back down and hits the SR level again. Then also a green buy, VWAP comes up, stochastic bands come up, so you get the point. Like, it's a matter of, especially on these 1 minute charts, if you can capture, your, how do I say that? Your high time frame, overall high time frame move where you want to go, and then you use the lower time frames to actually enter your position in the perfect way, like perfect way possible. Even looking down here, so this SR level here, which was the 21,984 whatever, that's heavily confluent with these moves here, and looking at the VMC, it's also confluent. And now if we go up to the higher time frames and look at that same move, you can see it didn't quite hit this one, but it hit this one, and obviously hit this one and bounced off this one eventually. The 5 minute. Now the 5 minute looks really healthy, to be honest. I like that. And I'll explain why. So here we are bouncing off the 5 minute SR level and then that daily SR level. And now we created this fair value gap between this SR level and this one. And then remember, that's the top of an SR. And now looking at the VMC here, so we have this big impulse up, touching this the first SR level, and we got a rejection, but the rejection was slow, so there wasn't enough pressure to just make it go right down. But then we did reject, and now we're creating more liquidity here, which is right under, like I said multiple times, this daily close. And now looking at the VMC and the stochastics here, the money flows actually really heavily green, which is really good. The VWAP's coming up, stochastics going back up, and there's a buy order as well. So that doesn't mean that something like this can't happen. So it comes up, pinches, and then comes back down. So we come back down to the bottom of the FVG. But from the looks of this, it does look like, just even looking at the 5 minute, it looks like it wants to at least come back up to this SR level, which if we do, would be very bullish, because we still have lots of room for the stochastic to go. And also the momentum, like obviously, can come all the way up to 100%. So being optimistic here, hypothetically speaking, we could come all the way back up to this level here, and if breaking that with enough momentum, you want to start looking at these levels here. So the point of control of this move basically would be where it all started for that first dump right here. I can even draw it, so something like this, just straight up like that. And anyway, let's move across. So this is on the 5 minute, like I said. The 5 minute does look pretty healthy. So let's go look at the 3 minute. So stochastic's pinching up. The money flow's coming down. And you know, we get a buy order, but it looks like it wants to pinch because the money flow's coming down. VWAP's coming down as well. So let's look at the 1 minute. So we're getting a sell, VWAP's down. Let's zoom right into the money flow. So the money flow is bellying, so it could try to bounce up right here, and or yeah, it's likely going to get a buy order here, or another buy signal. So it'll be a fake out, and or it'll come back to the SR and then get a green, which would be confluent, like it would come back down and pinch. But just looking at this, it does look like it wants to go back up. So now that you have a brief understanding of how to actually capture your highs and lows and each move, you have a better understanding of where to place your orders and why price moves where it's supposed to move, because nothing happens for a reason. Like, people, smart money, big money, institutions know where the liquidity is, and they're going to make the price move. And that's what a lot of these indicators are based off of that. It's not rocket science. It's just a matter of actually understanding it and being able to not necessarily time it, because that's kind of hard, but I mean, just charting. Like I do this full time, other than being a full-time dad. Anyway, here. This was actually a really nice trade. Like, I think I did a 50x on like $140, so I made pretty good money on that. And I didn't sell like until right about here on this candle, which is pretty good. But overall, looking at this, I'm bullish. I'm still bullish. Money flow is coming down on the hourly. Looking at these, coming down, looks like it wants to pinch. Stochastic's way up, coming down. Sell order, stochastic's coming down. But is it going to get enough momentum, right? Like, it can pinch on these lower time frames, so the 15 minute. So it's just going sideways, and the momentum's coming down, stochastic's coming down, but it's not really doing much to the price. Now the 5 minute, same story. The bull, I mean, that kind of goes for both cards, because it's not doing much for the bulls either. Like, it's not moving up as much. But the one thing I do note here is the stochastic's coming down, and the money flow's still green. And like, keep in mind, we're on the 5, so the money flow's still green, and the stochastic's coming down, which means this, basically, that's why this is flat. So there's not enough pressure, either bulls or bears, and we're on top of this FVG. So this is acting as like a support, basically. And I believe, like I said, I believe that we're just gonna kind of coast this until it breaks. But we do need, like, once I believe this comes down to the middle or the pinch point, it's likely going to come back up and, like I said, test the, when we were on the 1 minute. If it breaks, it'll test the first SR level here, which would be pretty bullish, especially if we could keep it. And now I'm going to go back to the higher time frames. I'm going to get rid of this. I'm going to get rid of this. Now it's going to look real messy when you zoom out, but that's okay. Because I'm just explaining how to capture prices anyway. But on the 4 hour, look at this. Like the VWAP is coming up. Stochastic had bottomed out. Now it's coming up. And this is creating a triangle. So this is where normally where the buy orders come in. So these green dots. Once that green dot comes in, the stochastic normally comes up and along with the VWAP as well. So as long as there's enough money flow and buy pressure, it's going to come back up. This looks bullish right here, just on the VMC alone, which is really, really nice. But that doesn't mean that it's actually going to work out that way. Like I said, this is trading, right? The whales could they could trap a bunch of people here on this daily close and grab all of this liquidity down here. There's probably a lot of stop losses right here. But again, there's a lot of stop losses right here and right here as well, and up here, people that have balls. Yeah, I'm really, really bullish still, and I think most people are probably really bearish at the look of this, especially on the day. A lot of people are probably expecting it to go down. It does look like a classic M pattern too. Now, if you are to be a trend trader or a trend line trader, there's a lot of people doing this one here. I noticed on social media. That's not quite right, but there. Anyway, which is a rising wedge, or bull flag, or whatever you want to call it, I guess. And on the daily as well, like you see the money flow is coming down. The stochastics like completely bottomed out. Now it can go for a while, but it's already gone for a while. Really, it's not coasting along the pinch zone. But the speaking of that, the momentum or the VWAP's coming up, and the momentum looks like to be bottoming out, to be honest. And the last time on the day we bottomed out around this area, which is around 50 to 40%, is right here. There is that. And this is where it was telling us to sell, which created a bearish divergence within price. That's why we got this big move down. So right here and right here would have been the best time to sell. Here you would have been screwed. There it is. Not necessarily screwed if you had a huge but if you were trading this properly anyway, you would have known that this was really bullish. It disregarded all of this, like it didn't care. This was going down while this was going up. You know, it's like really, really bullish when. But once we did get this and the trend starts coming down, obviously you have to be aware that it is exhausted. And this is exactly where it got exhausted the first move. And then come down and we got this buy order yet again. And you can see here, and one of my YouTube videos actually, it's my first video, it's terrible, but you can see, let's go with this one, line, and go right through to here. Yeah, that works. Oops. And the reason why, just give me a sec. My goodness. Do it like that. And put this yellow. So you can see the VWAP is pinching, and the stochastic bands are also coming up, and this is where you're getting the buy. So if you were to put this line straight, and at the bottom of that, so this is where I said prior in the stream, this is where the triangle happens on the momentum wave, and this is the perfect spot to be buying. But this is the basically the confirmation of the buy, because the indicator, it is technically, like, a lot of the stuff is lagging. I don't think there's really many indicators that exist that can actually predict the future. But this is one of them that can get as close as it can get, basically. And now I'm gonna add another indicator, and this one is the VMC Cipher A, or you can do this one here because this one has signals. I don't really use this one, but I'm gonna show it to you anyway. Now this one is, like I said, this one lags even more. So let's go. So these signals here, I just disregard because they're too slow. Like, I traded that instead of here. But that's the confirmation of this indicator. Now, this is new, actually, looking at it on the daily. I'm gonna change indicators here, so I don't want the signals on. So this one here, VMC Cipher A. So you can see these lines light up when it's in a bullish trend, and they go gray when it's in a bearish trend. But this could also, like how it's going gray here, and I was explaining earlier in the stream that this and all of this right here, especially on the lower time frames, in conjunction with daily, I believe is a bullish move. We are actually going to come back up, and it's going to trap all the people trying to, all the bears and people that are afraid selling, shorting the market here, which is a terrible idea. They're going to get trapped, and it's going to come back up. Which on the daily, if it did do that, and we got enough momentum and the bullish buying pressure, the first price target of mine would be the $24,500, which is that SR level, the daily SR level. Now that could take multiple days. Like, to give you an idea, I would even just draw it out. Like, that move could do something like this, right? So that doesn't necessarily. Anyway, it looks very similar to this. Now, I was watching a stream earlier, and somebody said that it's going to come up to this trend line if it does bounce correctly, which would be wild, but it would be confluent with this. I believe that's a 4-hour. Yeah. So $26,000 is their price prediction, which, I mean, it does make sense, and it'd be near the top of this range as well, if it is to bounce here. Like I said, I'm still very, very bullish. Look, in conjunction with all the lower time frames and everything going on, like, the money flow is coming down, but that doesn't mean that it can't do something like this again, right? And that's exactly what happened here, looking on the daily. So you get this buy, money flow comes right back up, and now on the daily it looks like it's ready to go on a buy again. The VWAP's coming up, so stochastic, it's aiming down, but it can bounce here. So this is like the perfect pivot point to be buying Bitcoin. Let's look at the 4-hour again. Come down to the 15 again. So it's getting rejection. So stochastic's coming down, VWAP's down, money flow's coming down, and now the momentum's coming down. So now let's go to the 5-minute. So now it's in the middle of the FVG, which I was told that middle of the FVGs are good buying zones, which is actually accurate because I have done a fair amount of trading from the middle of FVGs, especially on the lower time frame scalping. So now let's look at the 3-minute. So that's a bottom, it's the bottom of a 3-minute FVG, which is marked out here on this red line as well. And I believe that's a higher time frame FVG. So let's look at this VMC just to give you an idea. VWAP's coming up, money flow's still coming down, but I believe this would be a good buying opportunity right here. And 5-minute. And like I said, that's the middle of this FVG as well, so it might do something like this. Let's look at the 1-minute. So 20,000, which is confluent too, yeah, like that's a really heavy, that's a heavy support as well. But we're on an FVG as well, 1-minute FVG, or SR level, sorry, $20,094. Now let's look at the 3-minute. So 3-minute SR level would be confluent with that move down as well. And so that would be between this range here, actually, this SR level, and the 3-minute liquidity, or FVG box. Which we're on the bottom of it right now, so yeah, like I said, this looks like a good buying opportunity. Now looking at the VMC on the 1-minute, the VBOP's coming up, Stochastic's coming up, money flow's coming up. We get a buy. So down here also, I forgot to mention this line here is the overall. You can see actually where it switches over. I'll put my crosshair. Right here, green money flow, and then red money flow. This is also just the volume down here as well. So your money flow volume. And it still says it's red because we're on the bottom side, but it's the overall curvature, so we're coming up. We got the buy signal, which is right here on this candle, is the buy signal. Oh, pardon me. And now the momentum wave is coming up. Like I said, Stochastic's coming up. VWAP's on top of the pinch point. So anyway, first target for that would be 22,144. Oops. Now I'm going to show you how these bands work too. So here, it tried to go, it lit up, so it was bullish. Is getting all of this bullish momentum, but the stochastic band was coming down. Like I said, I still believe that this is going to bounce back up. Like we're going to end up breaking this level and coming back up to the higher level time frames. I'm still not bearish. Be a good scalp trade here, actually. Coming back up to the test the prior daily close. Now another indicator you can use too is, I'll get rid of this one here, the bands. I believe I have it. Here we go, yeah. Order flow analysis. It's by Algo Trade Wiz. This one here, I'll show you. So this one is basically like, you can see up at the top, sell volume, buy volume, and it shows you your tick time. Now your tick time is each candle, so we're on the 1-minute time frame. So looking at the most, or like concurrent, over here, we'll look at these ones here. So top volume, 328. 328. So right here, just because we started it, so it's just capturing price data now. But if we would have, let's see if we load higher time frames, if it will. Okay, so it's capturing some now. Yeah, there we go. So you can see the order sizes, the volume actually coming in, and right here. So by volume, this is the active tick time. So this is the one we're on. Yes, 327, 327. So you can see the actual orders coming in as the candle's going along price, and the price will show up at the side when the active orders come in on this. So it's like it's almost like an order book, and this is showing you when it goes yellow, there's a divergence in price. So the top price, I believe, yeah, the top price is the bullish, and that's the bearish. And you can see like actual live orders coming in, which is pretty impressive. And these are all, like I said, these are all indicators that are free to use. So you can use this in conjunction with making informed trading decisions. So like if you need more confidence, you can wait until you see big orders coming in. Let's go to the 1 minute and I'll give you an example. Like we're at an SR level, and on this tick, let's see if we captured that. It's 323. We don't have any price down on that. We just put it on, but I'm sure there was big orders here. So anyway, you can tell by these wicks too. There's a lot of buying pressure at this level, 22,094. So it looks like it wants to pinch here, but it could just be a fake out, like I said. So it'd be interesting just to watch the buying and selling volume come in to see if there is enough buying volume to make it bounce here to come back up, creating I believe this would be a higher low in the market. Yeah, it would be a higher low too, which would be really bullish, and even more come fluid to come back up and test the previous daily. Like look at the 3 minute here. So stochastic's down, VWAP's down. Anyway, I'm gonna take a break. I'm gonna leave the chart on, and hopefully you gained something useful out of this so far. I know, especially if you're new to trading, this all seems like absolute nonsense, but my best advice is to put these indicators on your chart and just watch it. Watch price action. Get to know price structure as well, higher lows, lower highs, where liquidity zones are going to be, and just do your research, right? You need to know what you're doing before you actually go out and just say, hey, I'm going to buy here just because some guy on your internet told me to. That doesn't mean that you should, right? You always got to do your own research. But I'm pretty confident in my own trading skills. I do have, it's funny, my name explains stupefied. Sometimes, like, explaining this stuff can be rather difficult, especially because it's really advanced stuff. And I'm not a professional trader by no means. I'm just a trader. Nobody pays me, I pay myself, you know what I mean? Like, and I don't sell anything, I don't sell courses or anything like that. This is more like a hobby. And same with YouTube, it's all a hobby. I like doing it. Anyway, it's been fun. So I'm gonna leave it on the 1 minute chart with these current indicators on, and you can watch the magic happen. I'm just gonna put this here. AFK. If you have been watching, thanks for watching. I don't know if anybody's been watching. I haven't checked the stream. But anyway. Oops. And that's how I chart Bitcoin. gonna take a break. Yeah, so like I said, it does look like it wants to come back up. On the 3 minute. I'll leave it on the 3 minute. Zoom out some. Oops, too much. There we are. I'll be back.
Computers now have primary control of critical vehicle functions.